Hey guys, Kev here, and let's talk about the Midnight. So this is the Midnight Jack, and man, this is the second Midnight I've reviewed in about a week and a half. I had the Tri-Axis Midnight in, and I gotta say, this is my kind of Midnight. So, first off, you guys know this was sent to me by Ben over at Jack Wolf Knives. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But at the same time, you should know that I am going to be buying this in Purple Haze Fat Carbon as soon as I possibly can. So my money will be on the line. As you know, I've bought at least one of the other two models that are out. There is a third model that was coming out and is delayed because of a QC issue, which is not awesome that there was a QC issue, but it's awesome that Ben is taking care of it. He recalled them, before they ever got sold to the public. So I think he handled that amazingly, and you don't have to worry about anything. Anyway, so the first model that came out was the Sharpshooter Jack, and I plug this every time, but if you guys need a slip for any knife or item, hit up Troy over at Northwoods Leatherworks Co. If you let him know I sent you, you can get one of these slips in high quality leather for like $30-35 shipped to your door. He uses Horween, Pueblo, waxy leather, all the good shit. As far as I know, and man, are they just spot on perfect. And this is the Sharpshooter Jack in the dark matter blue, and you can see that's the first model that released. And of course I have the matching slip because I am one bougie son of a bitch. And then we have the laid back Jack, or the pickle Jack as I like to call it. This one has a little bit of a lighter pull than the Sharpshooter. I don't know if it's the blade or what, but it works for the knife. And this one's got the green fat carbon, so I call it the Pickle Jack. It's Jungle Wear Fat Carbon, matching slip. And then we have this one in Black Micarta, the Midnight Jack. And this one's going to have Purple Haze Fat Carbon. So it'll be like this, where it's got a lot of the color, where this one's sort of just black with splotches of color. It'll have that full purple color. And I'm hoping that Troy can hunt me down a purple slip of some sort, or at least something, and then purple stitching. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But these are the three so far. Again, there's the Little Bro, but it's kind of getting worked on. It'll be released a little bit later. And, of course, I'll be getting that one in the Copper Dark Matter Fat Carbon. So there's a size comparison for you of the three Jack Wolf knives, in case you're curious. I'll go ahead and I will put these away. Right off the bat, I can tell you the Midnight has the strongest walk and talk of the group. So if that's something... Is that in right? Yep, that was in right. So if that's something that matters to you, you want it to be a very light sort of walk and talk, light spring, this might not be the one for you. Now, I wouldn't say it's too strong in any way, but I'd say from here to half is, a 7 probably. And then from half to open, or what I call on the way out, it's got a bit of oomph to it. It's, 7.5 reaching that 8 mark. But to me, that's a good thing, because this is a knife I'm going to want to use, and having that little bit of extra pressure on the back of the spine there, I think is good. Now, you should never just be applying tons of pressure back there. And one of the things I love about this knife and this design is the sheep's foot blade, and that's something the laid back Jack does well too. It's a worn clip. And when you have a blade like that, you tend to use it for utility cutting. You tend to use the tip. And what happens when you use the tip? Well, you're putting pressure on the spine of the knife. You're not putting pressure on the spring, right? So, I don't know if that makes sense, but to me it does. You're pushing this way, so the blade wants to push and put pressure back to where, you're not going to close it because it's pushing back. But if you put pressure in the wrong direction, you can have it go this way, and that's what you don't want. And this type of blade shape is perfect for putting pressure in the right direction, the safer direction. It has this beautiful hollow grind. Now, I believe it's still a full hollow grind, because you can see from here up to that swedge, it's full hollow. And then, yeah, of course, you have the swedge here, but I would still call it a full hollow grind. We can start, I guess, with aesthetics. We usually do. This is a gorgeous piece, in my opinion. I think it's the sexiest Jack Wolf so far. And I love that it was sort of a secret. It was a super secret knife. He's Ben, if you guys don't know Ben Belkin, he sort of is all about that. He loves having the mystery be part of it with the Jack Wolf knives. He's really good at that. That's something I suck at, because I get excited. I want people to know things, and right? So I'm not going to be the guy who's good at doing secret releases and stuff. But he is. Nobody knew about this coming, that I talked to at least. And all of a sudden it was like all this stuff about the Midnight Jack. And it's like, what's the Midnight Jack? And then boom, like, 4 days later you got to see it. It's like, oh, it's amazing, right? And I'm not sure if he then showed the fat carbon too later, so you didn't find out right away. By the way, it's this fat carbon. This purpley type fat carbon. Just imagine that on this. Oh my god. As I throw stuff. Yeah, anyway. So aesthetically, I just think it's gorgeous and unique, and it's different. All of his previous designs have this single fluted bolster, or, they have it on both ends, both bolsters. But this is different. This has a triple fluted bolster. It's got a longer bolster on this end, no bolster down here, no end cap. And then it's got this coffin-shaped handle on the top and the bottom. I just think it's super unique. And it's just gorgeous. It looks good closed. Yeah, you have that blade hump kind of sticking out, but that's okay with me. I've been carrying it in this Lancelot leather Jack Wolf knives, OCD for EDC. Clip slip. You can get these clip slips on EDC Round Table without the logo, or you can get them from OCD for EDC with the logo. They are a bit expensive. I think they're like $50 or something like that. But I'll tell you, they work really well. I had two of them. I gave one to Colin, my business partner, so he could try it out. And it works with a lot of knives. But it works with all of the Jack Wolves. So you could buy one of these and have it work with all of your Jack Wolves. I mean, you're probably not going to carry more than one every day, right? So you can just pop the knife out and slip the next one in, whichever one you're going to carry that day. So it actually is really good, and the clip is fantastic. It carries really well. This is by far my favorite clip slip I've ever handled or used. And then if you're going to get a regular slip, I highly recommend Northwoods Leatherworks. Just the fit, I mean, it's like Kydex fit leather. It's really amazing. I've raved about it enough, but the quality is insane. So then when we open her up, the beautiful walk and talk, we have this gorgeous sheep's foot style Barlow looking knife. I guess I don't know what it would be considered. Is it like a coffin Barlow? Is that a thing? Or did I just make that up? I may have heard that somewhere. Maybe Ben mentioned it somewhere, but let's call it a coffin Barlow. Really good size. So if we get into just looking at the sort of fit and finish on this guy, we are going to be flush in all three positions on the spine. It's going to be nice. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to snap into place. Just freaking fantastic, to be honest. It's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. A lot of people scream, it's made in China. And it's like, yeah, it's made in China. And it's made incredibly well in China. It is executed to perfection in China. It is hand finished in China. I don't care. If you could have this made here and sell it to me, sure. But you can't. So, like, it's China. Whatever. Who cares? It's got all of Ben's love in it. It's got all of his design aspects in it. And it's got all of his... If you guys know me well enough, you know I'm a very picky person. I'm very detail-oriented when it comes to knives, right? And that's going to pass through when you see my own products hit the market. I just want to double-check these. Make sure they're tight. You're going to see that, right? It's going to come through because a person who is picky and you know, cares about this and that, is when they sell something, they're going to obviously care about it as well, right? You're not going to just sell a less than you would own product. I don't know many people like that, right? Most people wouldn't sell something they wouldn't buy or own. Okay. So you translate that to Ben, and Ben is a very detail-oriented, nitpicky type guy when it comes to his knives. He wants them to be perfect. So that's what you got. That's what you got. And then the people screaming, well, it's made in China. Well, that's why this only costs $275. Yes, that's a lot of money for a knife. I get it. And the people who say $275, it's a slip joint. Dude, it doesn't matter if it's a slip joint or a folder that locks. I really don't understand why that should make it cheaper. I really don't. But you can look at, here's my own design, the Devo Knife Stout. Okay, bolster lock, titanium bolster lock with micarta scales, 20 CV blade. Titanium bolster design, micarta scales, M390. Okay, this goes for $275. We sold these for $269. Okay, that was on pre-order. Once they come in, they're going to go for $289 because we got to give those people who pre-ordered a little bit of a benefit, right? So right around the same exact price point. I don't understand. And if you look at the fit and the finish and the build quality on this, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that QSP did a better job. I'm not. They did a great job. And I think for the price point, we're offering a lot here. If you look around at competitors and stuff like that, we're definitely offering this at a reasonable price for a boutique brand selling an OEM'd product. Please keep that in mind. If you're one of those people who's like, oh my God, that's so much, I can get a Tucson for... Yes, you can, because they are making it. And they are selling it. And they are designing it. And it's just not the same thing. OEM and from factory are different things. Anyway, just wanted to point out, the price point is the same on that. But the level of fit and finish and quality here, to me, is more like this. It's more like this. It's more like a Riot built knife, okay? This is a $400 knife, essentially, $375. This, $425 knife, right? Now, you can get this in a base version with micarta, I think, you know, let's call it $350. So it's cheaper than those. It's $75, $100+ less than the ones I just showed you. But in my opinion, and I've handled a lot of knives, the quality is at that level. So, in short, the price is great. The price is wonderful. Don't complain about the price. Just complain that you don't have enough money. You know what I mean? Anyway, Ergonomics. Oof, man, it is very comfortable in hand. The only downside ergonomically to this knife, in my opinion, is it can be a little bit sharp back here because you have that coffin handle. It's a trade-off for having that. I can feel those corners in my palm a little bit. So maybe they could have knocked down the corners a little bit, but it's meant to have that angular shape, and I think they wanted to keep that, so they didn't. Has it bugged me? No, because I'm usually in this kind of grip where I'm kind of up here, and this is tucked away. But if I hold it like awkwardly like this, then yeah, I can feel it a little bit. Enough for it to like bother me during cutting? No. To be honest, I just noticed it. I didn't notice it until that very moment where I pointed it out. So it can't be that big of a deal, right? And I'm holding the knife like this most of the time, doing this and that, or doing this, you know. So I think ergonomics, fantastic. I mean, it's not quite as ergonomic as the sharpshooter or the laid back jack, in my opinion. I just like the way the sharpshooter falls in my hand, which is so funny because when I got it, I thought it would be the opposite. And the laid back jack is just, I don't know if it's just a little bit more because of the sway, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I guess it's about the same. They're all fantastic though. There's no like bad here. It's just, those might be a 9 out of 10 and this is an 8.5, something like that. Ergonomics are great. I love getting into the pinch grip, right? You can get up there and really get detailed with that tip, which is what I do with a knife like this. The carry we talked about, right? The slip. You can use a, regular slip. You don't have to use the slip from Lancelot. If you don't want a clip, you can just use a regular slip. You can see here, even the one for my sharpshooter just pops right in. Not going anywhere. I mean, it's like a Kydex fit in there already. I mean, it's insane. So you can easily get a slip, and it comes with a fantastic slip. The slips that come with the Jack Wolf knives are really good. I hate that. I think some people think that I don't like the slips because I don't use them. I'm just a bougie matchy match guy, and I also like these being a little bit thinner. That's the only negative I have about the slips that come with these, is they're a little bit thicker because it's thicker leather. Probably because they're mass produced and they just need to be a little bit thicker. But they're fine. They work great. Their quality is really good. And you get a slip with your knife. That's the important thing, is most companies don't give you a slip with the knife, and it sucks. It really does. So you have your knife sitting around on your desk while you're waiting for your slip to show up. Well, with the Jack Wolf, I basically use this until my custom slip shows up from Northwoods. That's the way I roll. But I think a lot of people would use the slip that comes with it until they get this, or they get a Northwoods, or they just keep rocking that slip because they don't care about having a bougie matchy slip, right? But the carry's great. The size, to me, is perfectly fine. There's nothing, it's not too big. It's not too small. It's honestly like the perfect size knife to carry around an EDC, right? It'll get the job done in almost every instance for me. This will easily cut through some cardboard if I need to, open packages, cut open seed bags or mulch bags. This thing is the perfect EDC knife for me. Carry, cutting, we just talked about, right? You have that beautiful hollow grind, right? Full hollow up to the top with that beautiful belt satin. You have this wonderful tip. Look at that. You get enough penetration, right? But not too much. It's not dainty, but it's not, robust. And it's going to get the job done. Anything you're going to use a knife like this for, wow, my thumb is all calloused up. Look at that. Hang on a second, my dog is like being weird. You need to go out? Come on. Sorry, I could hear him like sniffing around my legs like dude was about to pee in here. Hell no. Sorry. I would have stopped that and edited and done another. I'm not doing that anymore. It takes too much time editing those little things to where I can't do 9,000 videos. So, sorry. You got to deal with it. Anyway, anything you would use these two knives for, I think you could easily use the Midnight Jack for. I've had friends roll the edge on their Jaegers because it's a super thin hollow grind. Look at that tip. I mean, it's not super sturdy. Like, who was it? Knapp Sergeant. He rolled the edge, like, from here forward, all the way, like, up to here. He had to turn it into, like, a Tanto-y thing. And then you can see the Maverick here. You get about the same blade length. I mean, not. You get a little bit less on the Midnight. But, again, same thing. It's just a deep, deep hollow grind. I mean, if you look at it close, it might be easier to tell. See how thin that tip is? See that? Okay, this is going to be thinner, but not by much. And you know what? For my tasks, that thinness behind the edge is going to be ridiculously positive. You're looking at 9 to 12 thousandths behind the edge, guys. That's insanity for an EDC knife. Just wonderful. It cuts through paper like butter, cuts through all the stuff I've cut through with it like butter. Really, really just an amazing knife for EDC, in my opinion. Now, if you're a heavy duty work, if you're a Osborne carrying pry tip kind of guy, this is not the knife for you. Okay, but if you're like me and you do EDC tasks day to day, you cut cardboard, you open packages, you do stuff like that, you're an Amazon warrior, this knife's gonna be great for you. Sounds. I mean, let's talk about walk and talk, right? Might as well. So fidget factor, action, sounds. Let's get into it. First off, it is dead centered, looking beautiful right there. Look at that. Tip, nice and close to the end of the backspacer. We don't have a bunch of handle there. The open, way out. Literally making love to this right now. So nice. Yeah, guys, the walk and the talk is just stupid on this. I added a little bit of 10 weight nano oil on the little corners there. I always do that with the Jack Wolves, and it seems to help break in that walk and talk. But, I mean, it's so good out of the box. It's just, that extra little touch. Now, like I stated earlier, it's got a strong spring from here to half, so you saw me kind of slip off there. And you just got to get the right amount of pressure. If you put your fingers like this and just start using your index finger here to push up, you get plenty of pressure. It's not like too strong or anything. And then one thing I recommend in order to avoid blade wrap, even though this doesn't have that issue where it can travel too far, you don't want to slam the blade down, right? So what you want to do is just apply enough pressure until that spring takes over and just let it fall. And I'll tell you, it's satisfying. So it's not only the right way to do it, it's satisfying to feel that snap down. And some people tend to go, and they just keep pushing and snap it, smack it into place. You don't need to do that. Just give it enough to close, and it'll close on its own. I mean, some people like to be super safe and do this, that's fine too, I guess. But I'm going to be doing it just like this. There's nothing more satisfying, in my opinion, than a slip joint that snaps to half, right? Where you feel it break off of your pressure into the spring, snapping to half, and then same thing on the close. Just nothing feels better than that. And the crisper it is, the crisper those corners are, I guess, the better it is. And this, guys, this is the best walk and talk I've felt on a slip joint. Hands down. And I love the other Jack Wolves. I mean, I've basically just said that from every Jack Wolf I've had. you know, down the list. They just keep getting better. And the models have different walk and talk based off of the model. He kind of varies it based on how much blade you have, the size of the knife, what kind of knife it is, like all that kind of stuff he takes into account. To me, on the Midnight Jack, the most satisfying thing is that on the way out pull from half to open. Just listen to this snap. There's just nothing better than that, in my opinion. Guys, this knife is incredible. Once again, Ben has crushed it. I know that you watch these reviews and it tends to just be a gush fest, and it's hard to separate that in your mind, right? Because you're like, well, he gave that to Kev. Like, of course he's going to rave about it. But, I mean, if you know me, I think you know that I don't do that, right? Like, I don't just say things are good because it was given to me or whatever, right? I genuinely am excited about the Jack Wolf knives when I get them. And that's why you get these type of reviews. And I think one thing to note is that this is sort of new for me, right? Like, Ben has kind of ushered the slip joint into my view, right? Like, I didn't care about slip joints really until I came across Ben at Blade Show last year and started talking to him, and he showed me his prototypes, and I got hooked, right? And then as the models have come out, I've gone farther and farther into it, and I'm still not like a slip joint guy, but I carry knives and slips regularly with no clip. I drink my coffee black now. You know, I pee sitting down. I'm just kidding. I'm old. I still really am not the biggest slip joint guy. Like, I really like that QSP Hedgehog. The Tactile Bear is a good knife. And I've actually designed one, and Devo Knives, we have one coming, sort of. It's a collaboration. But the Jack Wolf knives are still kind of the ones I like, right? I love, so to speak. I only own Jack Wolf slip joints, if that makes sense. But it makes me excited. So, like, I do these type of very positive reviews on these slip joints because, to me, this is new and exciting stuff. Where if you put another folder in front of me, odds are I might not get that excited because I've seen a million folders and I've reviewed a million folders, and, you know, I still get excited for some, but this is just, to me, a little bit more exciting. I don't know. So anyway, that is the Jack Wolf Knives Midnight Jack full review. And yeah, guys, check it out on July 15th. Probably should have led with that. On July 15th at 2 p.m., these will be dropping at your favorite retailer, so to speak. I will, of course, link all of the retailers down below. Actually, I'm going to link Jack Wolf Knives' website to the dealer list. So you just go to the dealer list, and you can work your way down the page until you find the one you want and you buy it. Unless you have a preferred dealer, then go hit them up. I suggest, if you want the Fat Carbon one, that you jump on it right away. I suggest that maybe you hit up OCD for EDC and say, hey, bro, you got one for me? Because I believe he does kind of pre-sell them. So there are ways to get them. The Micarta ones are gorgeous. They are functionally probably better than the Fat Carbon ones. But the Fat Carbon ones do just look the best. And to me, as a collector type dude, sort of, especially when it comes to these, I will use them. But, like, I am sort of collecting Jack Wolfs. I want the Fat Carbon ones. So anyway, that's it. Fantastic knife. Ben killed it again. Good job, dude. Thanks for sending this out. And let me know if you guys have any questions down below. Keep your eye out for this one. I think it's going to be the most popular one yet. And I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.